What instantly kills the vibe at a party? Story 1. I was attending a staff party with an open bar, and as the night progressed, the first groups of guests started to leave. While retrieving their coats from the closet, they stumbled upon a new team member, who we assume had already departed hours ago. To everyone's surprise, he had stripped all of his clothes, created a nest of jackets, and had unfortunately soiled everything before passing out. Needless to say, his unexpected and bizarre behavior killed the lively atmosphere of the party. Story 2. During my 20s, our friend group had this one guy who always hung around us. We gave him the nickname Scott the Shitter because it perfectly encapsulated both his name and his tendency to have uncontrollably bowel movements. It didn't matter how much he drank, once he hit a certain level of drunkenness, his bowels would revolt. He spent the rest of the night with the runs. He was oblivious to it all and would walk around with a big, wet stain on the seat of his jeans all night. But sharing a cat with him and his poop reek was just too much for us to handle. Eventually, we found a way to ditch him permanently. Story 3. One evening, my friend got intoxicated and announced to the entire kitchen that she had to fart. Unfortunately, she ended up having liquid diarrhea and ended up soiling herself on the floor. The smell was unbearable, and the party quickly came to an end. We suspected she may have had a stomach bug or something. After the incident, our friend group started giving her diapers as a gag gift for every occasion. We eventually lost touch with her about a year later, so we're not sure what happened to her. Story 4. One time, my 14-year-old brother decided he wanted to see how difficult it would be to dig out a 1 meter by 1 meter square hole from the ground. Inspired by his love for Minecraft, he spent an entire weekend working on it until he grew bored of it, but it was almost completed. Fast forward a few months, I was hosting a party at my dad's house. We had a great time with a bonfire in the yard, but one attentive guest noticed a pit in the ground. It made it his duty to keep everyone away to prevent any accidents. Unfortunately, our kind-hearted guard ended up being the one who got injured. He fell into the pit and turned out to be a pretty bad fall. Thankfully, we had a sober person on hand who was able to drive him to the hospital, but the party was instantly dampened. As it turned out, the end result was that our guard had broken his leg pretty badly. Story 5. One of the most thrilling experiences I've had was at a friend's party, where I found myself smoking weed in the woods with my friend's sister and their neighbor. Suddenly, we saw a light at the edge of the trees, and the neighbor's dad had caught a sight of us and was hot on our heels. We split up and ran in different directions, with his dad almost catching up to me at one point. Eventually, I managed to lose him and sneak back into the party through the back door. When I walked to the bedroom where my main group was, they bursted out laughing at the sight of me, as I looked like I had been through a war. Despite the close call, I would do it again all over. It was an exhilarating experience that I'd never forget. Story 6. One night, I witnessed a party take a dangerous turn. The host and two friends went to a private room to do some drugs, but little did they know it was laced with fentanyl or some other deadly substance. Before long, they were found unresponsive and the party came to a screeching halt. Paramedics and cops were called and it was a chaotic scene. Thankfully, the quick administration of Narcan saved their lives, and they eventually made a full recovery. It was a scary reminder of the dangers of drug use and how easily things can go wrong. It was a horrible night that nobody will ever forget. Story 7. I had a wild party with a bunch of ravers, most of whom I didn't know. Then, some sketchy neighbors asked if they could come in, and despite our reservations, we let them in. As soon as they entered the house, my roommate's Boston Terrier started growling and walked them all right back out. It was as if the dog knew something we didn't. Story 8. I once found myself in a precarious situation at a party where I didn't know anyone except for a friend and his girlfriend. We decided to take some mushrooms, but I ended up taking way more than I should have, feeling incredibly uncomfortable. I retreated to my car and spent the next 6 hours there. My friend and his girlfriend eventually came to check on me, and they convinced me to come back into the house where the party was. Once inside, I discovered that people were smoking crack and shooting it up. It was a wild and uncomfortable scene. I had a minor confrontation with one of the partygoers before I decided to leave. I drove home, and as I was coming down from the mushrooms and driving through the countryside, the sun began to rise. Despite the sketchy experience, I felt like I made the right choice to leave the party, and I was rewarded with a beautiful sight of the sunrise. It was a surreal experience that left me feeling both shaken and grateful. Story 9. At a party I attended, a girl got too drunk and convinced herself that she was going to die. She asked people to call an ambulance for her, even though she was actually fine. While the rest of us were hanging out, drinking beer and rolling joints, the paramedics and cops arrived, and everyone was rolling their eyes. It was definitely a memorable moment of the party, but she did sure kill the vibe. Story 10. As a hospital peace officer, I've seen my fair share of crazy situations, but this one really takes a cake. It was 2 a.m. when a group of drunk girls stumbled into the hospital with their passed out friend. As I approached them, I gave them the usual response: she's just drunk, she can sleep it off here or at home. They opted to take her home to put her to bed, and as they rolled her away in a wheelchair, I noticed something that made my stomach turn. The drunk girl had actually soiled herself, and it was all over the back of the wheelchair and floor. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and all I could do was shake my head and wonder how some people could be so careless. It was definitely a night I'll never forget. Thank you for watching our video on what instantly kills the vibe at a party. We hope you found these stories informative and entertaining. If you have any similar experience or thoughts you'd like to share, please leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Your support means a lot to us. It motivates us to create more content. Remember, knowing what not to do at a party can help you be a better guest and keep the good times going. See you in the next video.